and welcome to another Marvel Legends review thanks to the team over at Robot Kingdom. In today's video we're taking a look at the Avengers Infinity War Wave 2 Build-A-Figure Cull Obsidian line. This consists of the Black Widow, Ant-Man, Marvel's Black Knight, Thor, Marvel's Wasp and Malekith. Right, first out of the package, and one I've been most excited for, is Thor. Now this is a repaint of the 3-pack Thor, which has yet to hit the UK shores. It was a Toys R Us exclusive, and the UK no longer has Toys R Us. But I'm glad that we finally get Thor back in his kind of chainmail armor. He comes with a cape in hand, no silly electric detailing on the front here with the lightning. We do get Cull Obsidian's arm, nice detailing on here. Love that kind of scaled effect, very kind of abomination. And we do get Stormbreaker. What a fantastically good sculpt. Love how that looks. Really nice weathering on the axe there. It looks very metallic. Love how the lightning kind of shrouds around Stormbreaker as well. We've got the binding on the handle there as well. It was nice seeing this brought into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Now sculpt wise, that's definitely not the most accurate version of Chris Hemsworth we've seen in an action figure form, I don't think, but at the same time it definitely looks like Thor. Love the scarring on the side of the head there, in the hair. The beard is done exceptionally well, nice and tidy, and also love the fact that the eyes are different colours, and we've got the scar above the top there as well. We do actually have kind of a pastel-y flesh tone over the top there as well. Some nice shading around the nose. They've done a very good job. I just don't think it looks as much like Chris Hemsworth as I would like. Looking at the back of the hair, again we've got some of that scarring carried on. Nice kind of brown wash over the blonde. Chainmail, very much like we got with the Thor from the first Avengers movie. It's nice to see him back in this armor as well. Articulation is nothing untoward. Everything moves up. The arms are incredibly stiff, which is quite worrying. I don't want to snap them in half. We do get an upper torso rotation, nothing at the waist there. Legs can come this far forward, this far back, out to the side. Upper thigh rotation, very stiff again, and we get a nice double jointed bend on that knee, pivot on the ankle, and some up and down motion as well. The paint on this is slightly different to the 3-pack. We've got kind of a bronze wash over the front of those boots, but all in all, love how Thor looks. He's got these curling hands, he's got the straps bound around his wrist. I would like kind of an open palm for this hand, just so we can get Stormbreaker in just the one hand, but love how that looks. Exceptionally well done. Somebody mentioned to me that the Thors are different heights. They do look very similar in height. I still prefer the face sculpt on this one, but that's not to say that I don't like the new Thor. I think this one really does capture Thor as a character. It's just not necessarily the best likeness. Up on the slab we have Natasha, aka Black Widow. She comes with Cull Obsidian's torso. Again, really nice sculpt on there, very abomination. I love the armor going across there as well, very similar to what we got with the Ragnarok Hulk. Natasha comes with 2 fists. She carries the most accessories out of all of the figures, which is nice, and the sculpt is sublime. I mean, that really does look like the face printing has got pretty darn good for that. Really nice paint applications. Love the sculpt on the hair as well. I'm not really sure why Black Widow suddenly went blonde. I'm not sure if that's something that's happened in the comics, but I always thought she was a redhead. But love how she looks. Love that smirk she's got there as well. It actually looks a lot more like her in hand than it does on camera, but they've done a very good job. I love this body belt thing that goes over the top there. Great sculpt on the back there. Got these weapon, are these the like handles or guns? I can't think what these are. They're additional as well coming down. We've got great sculpt on that leg there. Got some textured sections. She's got a very nice pear shape to her as well. We have a single jointed elbow, unfortunately something I really despise in the female characters. I would have loved double joints on there. She has her batons as well. Head can look up that far, down that far, tilt left and right. We can move the shoulders up and around, single jointed elbow. There's a rotation on the elbow as well. We do get an abdominal crunch forwards and backwards, and we can rock that side to side. We do not get any additional waist rotation. The legs can come this far forwards and go this far back, come out to the side. Love that we've got flex on that leg piece. Upper thigh rotation, again lots of flex on this. Get double jointed bend on the knee, and we get nice little wedged feet as well, so we can go up and down and we can pivot left and right. All in all, in my opinion, one of the best figures in this wave. Next up we have one of the figures I was actually most excited for, but slightly disappointed when I've got him in hand. This is Scott Lang, the Ant-Man. Now him and Wasp are both present in this wave, although neither were present in the Infinity War movie, but Ant-Man and the Wasp is just around the corner for its cinematic release date, so I'm glad they included them in the wave. Now, initial impressions, he looks the bee's knees, or the ant's pants, I guess. We get Cull Obsidian's leg, pretty much what we'd expect from a giant kind of ogre looking space creature, and some armor on there. And Scott has one of those amazing face sculpts that has really captured the character. It's come a long way since playing Phoebe's boyfriend on Friends. Do love the outfit that he's in, although we do have a very strange crease across the head there where they've put the hairline on, and he doesn't have a forehead. He actually, like me, has a 5 head. It's so big that they've added another notch on there. It's like the paint comes up to the top there, then the hairline just sits back further than it should, but it definitely looks very much like Paul Rudd. It's a great smirk on there, and it's a good outfit. It's really good, but the disappointment lies with the lack of accessories. You literally get nothing with him. You get Cull's leg, and you get his helmeted head, but unlike we got with Civil War, there's no translucent plastic on the eyes. They're just painted over. I would really have loved to have seen this done properly, because this is the first decent, in my opinion, Ant-Man movie-wise that we've got. Although I did like the version we got in the past. The suit was different, the helmet was different, didn't really even remotely look like his cinematic counterpart. That being said, I do like how the helmet looks on him. It's just not perfect. I think I'm going to stick with him holding the helmet under his arm, but we can get some really kind of nice range on here. It's very natural. It's just, I wish they'd kept it closer to what they did with the Giant Man version. I mean, we all know that he becomes Giant Man in this, again, judging by the trailers, and I just liked that translucent plastic to be used on the helmet. But other than that, we have a very nice looking Ant-Man in our movieverse. Next up, carrying on the Ant-Man and the Wasp theme, we have Wasp, again looking absolutely fabulous in her new outfit. Now we have Cull's head, great sculpt on there. I will get to Cull at the end of the video, but he's not perfect. He's not really that resemblant of his movie counterpart, but hey, he's a good looking chap nonetheless. We get a ruddy, amazing face sculpt on the helmetless head. Perfectly done. I would actually say that's the best of the three. Better than Black Widow and better than Ant-Man. I'm not including Thor because it's not really a great resemblance to Chris Hemsworth, but love the hair in the ponytail. Wonderfully sculpted. Very nicely done. Even the paint on the lips and the eyes, that's done to a remarkably good standard for a child's toy. We get her wings collapsed in a backpack form. I assuming that's when she's just standing around. Doesn't want to have her wings fluttering all the time. And we also get 2 of these flying pose hands as well, which is nice. But that being said, Charlemagne Prime commented on this fact as well. The wings can go up and down, but we can't actually move them back and forth, which is how they would be in flight mode. And we also get the visor on her face. So if we could do the translucent eyepiece on here, why can't we do that on the Ant-Man sculpt? I love the difference in shade. This part on the top here looks very metallic and nicely done. And I love the gold that they've used. It's a great re-envision of Wasp. A few smidges and smudges over there, and we do have a very gaping gap on those crotch there. It allows for the thighs to roll inwards and outwards, but it reminds me very much of the old X-Men Wolverine and Cyclops, where they had the big wide crotch so they can mount the bike. Now she has her stingers on either one of her wrists. Really do like how she looks articulation wise. The head can look down that much, and we can look up quite far so she can fly forwards. The shoulders can come all the way up. We can come out to the side. We've got upper bicep rotation. We've got rotation and pivot on that wrist. We have upper torso rotations that can bend really nicely at the abdominal crunch. Really need a flight stand for her. She is designed to be flying. Legs can come forwards, out to the side, out to the back. Upper thigh rotation is ridiculously tight. We do get, well, not 1 but 2 bends on the knee with a nice pad to make it look more natural, and the feet do go up and down, and there is a pivot in there, but mine is incredibly stiff, so just be wary. If you can't move it, then just apply a little bit of heat from, say, a hairdryer, and then try and wiggle it, but do it slowly so we don't get any breakage. If we just switch out that hand and bring in a flight hand, look at that. That is an incredible flight pose. Love how she looks. If we just switch out the head and we pop on her wings like so, and there we go. Then we have her in her normal form where she can just sit there and chat to Scott. Again, looks very good. Sits nicely on that neck. Although we do have a small gap behind the hairline, and I love how the backpack looks as well. Sits on there, really does follow the contours of her body. Next up we have the first of our 2 comic book characters. We have Malekith, the Dark Elf, the guy that chops off the unworthy Thor's arm. Now if anybody does have a copy of the San Diego Comic-Con unworthy Thor with the metallic arm and the beard, please hook me up. I have money, I will throw it at you. I love the look of that figure. In fact, I love the look of the entire set, which of course featured the alternative colouring of Malekith. We also get Cull Obsidian's arm, very much like the other arm, just the other side, and we get his big chunky hammer as well. There we go. Every large space ogre needs a hammer. Let's take a close look at Malekith. He's got that crazy dark elf expression on his face. Very nicely done. Love the flowing hair with the white highlights on there as opposed to the black wash. We've got this nice pattern on the back here, which this has all been chopped out, allowing for good range. We have his belt, and we have the star on the chest and on the armor. I can't help but feel though that this guy is going to be the shelf warmer of the set. I think people are just going to buy him so they can get Cull's arm and weapon. I like him. I actually think he looks really nice, and I love the story of how he severs Thor's arm. It's a very large blade. I'm not sure which way it's meant to go around. Is it this way or the other way? I think it's this way. We do have 2 of the gripping hands. I think we've got enough roll on that chest there so we can bring both hands round. Here we go. To be held in one hand. I get a very kind of Christopher Lambert, there's only one Highlander vibe from Malekith there. We do get a nice range on there as well. The hair doesn't overly hinder. There's quite a bit of flex in there. I love the shoulder pads as well. But yeah, I believe this is the first time, or maybe they used it on the San Diego version, but I think it's the first time they've used this kind of split skirt as well. But it does work. It allows the legs to come all the way forward, all the way back. Not really sure why there's so much hatred for this figure. I actually like how he looks. He's a good villain. And the last of the characters is, of course, Black Knight. Now, this is the second time we've had a Black Knight figure. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's back in the Brood Queen wave or something like that when Hasbro started doing these again that we got a Black Knight. But it had nothing on this guy. We get the alternative head sculpt. Love that eagle crest on there, although this reminds me very much of Monty Python, but again, very nice sculpt. This is my favorite of the helmets. It reminds me very much of his leather jacket wearing days. In fact, I quite like to put a leather jacket on him. If I could switch out the arms and maybe switch out the torso. We get Cull Obsidian's leg. This is the final piece in the Cull puzzle. And of course we get Black Knight, his cape and his sword. Again, nice sculpt on that head. This helmet reminds me very much of kind of Visionaries. He's got a very strong chin there. Possibly the same sort of chin they used for Captain Britain, but I'm not entirely sure. And then we've got the eagle on his chest. Slight damage on that piece there. We have the belt going all the way around, and again we've got this chainmail effect on the arms. The cape just tabs in on the back, and we get the skirt hanging down either side. Love the big gauntlets on him as well. And of course we have the gripping hands, much like we got with Malekith, so he can hold his sword. I'm just going to switch out that head for my favorite of the set. He looks very stern and angry, doesn't he? And I love the fact that we can actually store his sword as well. I think we've seen this type of blade before. A little bit of overlap on the spray just where the hilt lies, and we've got a nice pivot left and right on the hand, although I would have liked a kind of holding the sword aloft tilt like we get with some of the He-Man figures, so the wrist tilts downwards. But all in all, you know, it's Black Knight. Nice to see another take on the character. My hand is a little bit looser than what I would like, but all in all, he has a nice puffy chest. It's a great use of a muscular torso, and I think he ticks a lot of fans' boxes. So that is the complete wave. Now it's time to build up our Cull Obsidian. Let's start off with these legs. They just pop over and twist in until they click into place. There we go. He's going to be a fairly substantial figure, which is nice. It's been a while since we got a fairly big builder figure, he says. That's only because I missed out on Juggernaut. There we go. There's his shoulder tab. Tab that into there. Bring the arm in and push and click. Make sure that one's clicked in. Yeah, there we go. bring the head in. There we go. And we can just bring his weapon into his hand. And there we have Cull Obsidian in all of his glory. I love how he looks. The sculpt on him is exceptionally well done. Really good looking figure, just not really that screen accurate. I think how he looks has probably changed since he was initially rendered, I guess. They probably had slightly out of date data, but I mean, he looks incredible. He's a very good bad guy. He's a very big figure. He towers over a majority of the Marvel Legends. The head can look up a very good amount. It slides down. We can swivel left and right. There's no real turning left and right. It's all kind of on that swiveling joint. Shoulders can come up that far. That's about as far as they can go. Can rotate round. We have an upper bicep rotation. We get single jointed bend on that elbow. We get rotation on the wrist and an up and down on the wrist. We get the upper torso abdominal muscle. Really nice backwards range, although very plain stomach. And down again is good. We do get the additional waist rotation, which is always welcome when we have that torso piece. The legs can come this far forward, this far back, hindered by this skirt. Out to the side, upper thigh rotation, double jointed bend at the knee. Thankfully, we get the knee pad to hide some of the joints, and we get up and down, and we can pivot left and right, and we don't actually have any heels. He kind of stands up on his hooves, so to speak. Here we have him alongside the first Infinity War wave Build-A-Figure Thanos and Proxima Midnight. It will be nice to get the remaining members of the Black Order in, and of course, just because a lot of people out there have purchased the Marvel Select Thanos, here he is alongside him as well. That's personally my favourite look for Thanos, but I think it's very in keeping and it does look remarkably good with the rest of the movie verse figures, but it doesn't look anywhere near as screen accurate as a lot of the fandom would have liked, which is a shame because it's a fairly substantial Build-A-Figure. It looks the part. The sculpting on it is exceptionally well done. I love all of these kind of raised bone claws. It is definitely a kind of giant troll-like abomination, and it does exactly what it says on the tin. I just wish it was closer to what we see in the movie. So there we have it, ladies and gentlemen, the Marvel Legends Infinity War Wave 2 Cull Obsidian Build-A-Figure line. Personally, one of my favourite Marvel Legends waves to date. They've definitely upped their game. I'm very much looking forward to the X-Men wave. Robot Kingdom should be getting that in soon, but as of publishing this video, this is my favourite line so far from Marvel Legends. There's a lot of good characters here, some really great sculpts. There's no real bad egg out of the bunch. If I was to rank them, I would probably say it goes Malekith, the worst, but definitely not a bad figure. Then we would go Black Knight, probably Ant-Man, Black Widow, Wasp, Thor, and then Cull Obsidian. He might not be screen accurate, but I absolutely love him as a figure. Thanks again to Robot Kingdom for making this review possible. If you found it useful and enjoyable, please give it a big thumbs up, share, and of course subscribe. And until next time, from myself and the Cull Obsidian Build-A-Figure Wave, goodbye.